succeed. Even at, he's very popular and he was athletic, he decided not to do something. Well, he's not to do a sport. And he held us all inside. He's a strong, confident kid. We had no idea as parents. Because our oldest boy's confident. I mean, they're both very confident. But inside, you don't understand what these kids are really doing. I mean, there's so much going on in that teenage years. I mean, we all understand that. And if you guys feel that there's something not right, you talk to someone. Not necessarily has to be your best friend or, just someone that you feel comfortable in. And
happens so easy, because such as slipping a note in your locker, sending a text, worldwide, all that social media. It's just, you have billions and billions of ways of antagonizing a person, tormenting them, calling them names. It's just.
That's what I mean. You guys are all on social media more so than anyone at this table, perhaps except me. But I'm starting to move away from that too. You guys experience that? Is there? School 7 years ago. I know it seems like you abandon your friend, you leave that group of friends, and you'll suddenly have no one to hang out with. But I mean, I'm sure you can speak from that experience that you would have found other friends, and you found them in college or after high school.
When I hit high school, that's one of those was a friend my freshman year, and after that I moved on.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I mean that's the thing. You're under the impression that leaving these friends or talking to your parents are not. You've got to make it clear to them that it's actually something serious. I think it's finally the culture is starting to change a little bit, where people are recognizing bullying is not a rite of passage, but more of a serious problem. But if it's happening to you, if it's actually causing serious problems, the way you stop these things. I mean, part of it's going to be. Bullies are the ones who need to be reformed in some form or another, but if you're dealing with it, you need to make it very clear to someone, whether it's your parents, to an older sibling, someone, that it's not a minor issue. That's not just, oh, I need to suck it up and be a man for some of the guys. That's growing up, that's what I was taught. And that's not okay. That's, talk to someone. Well, obviously, perhaps not your dad. You might not feel comfortable going to your dad, but I didn't feel particularly comfortable going to my parents. But find someone. So it's you got to do it. Otherwise, this is going to be a very long 4 years or 3 years that you guys have left.
Yeah, and I think you may not even know it, but bullying happens. You could just be talking with your friends, and what he was saying, you don't know what they feel on the inside, but you're comfortable with your friends, and you could just tell them shut up, jokingly. But they're just going to react oh yeah, I really don't care, but inside you don't know if they're actually taking it seriously or not.
Or maybe if they were having a bad day or something like that and tell them to shut up, whatever kind just gets to them that day.
Mm-hmm.
You never
So it
know.
can be that's 2 words you can use.
Mm-hmm.
And you may
And
not
not be
even
aware.
recognize that you hurt them,
Sure.
and they're not going to act like they are because they're your friends, but when you guys split apart, when you go to your other houses, they'll probably feel worse at home or something.
I can talk to people at school, but I don't really have a friendship outside of school with them. It's when I come to school, I talk to them. When I'm out of school, I'm kind of by myself. We have 2 neighbors where I live now, and you see them every once in a while. One will come over and say hey, and the other one the music teacher, but I don't really know anyone. So, I mean, I have friends at school, so it's kind of, if we could make this more of a family, not family thing, but more like a family at school, it would help.
I think in the big case right there is you're at school 5 days a week. Same thing with work most of the time. You are spending a majority of your time with the people you work with or the people at your school. When you get home, you're exhausted or you got homework. As for me, I'm exhausted when I get home. I don't want to go talk to my neighbors. So I completely understand where you're coming from, having, friends at school, but your neighbors, not so much. You don't have the time anymore. At least that's the way I see it nowadays.
I do have a question though. My question is that how much of that energy that you put into
that concern or that worry about what somebody else thinks or how they feel is really consuming more of your time than if you would just be friendly or nice. And I see Destiny smiling because I think that there's a lot of emotional energy that goes into worrying about what someone said, someone thinks, how somebody feels, right? And so you need to take out the word assumption and ask and talk and be a part of.
Of course, I had a basketball game tonight, but I can't play because of school choice. I can't play till next week, and I've waited a whole school year to play, and I was just going to go to the game, and the people who were not here tonight on the basketball team had to write a paper. I was like, oh, I might as well go to the game. It'll be fun, write a paper. And I got to talk to my coach, said it's going to be a good experience, and overall, so far, it's been a better people take you for who you are. People like you, they enjoy your time.
I mean, it talks about these third world countries, inner cities, all of this stuff. It's sort of a global thing, and I mean, I encourage you guys, go do the global stuff. It's great. Travel to countries, go to areas, third world areas and conditions, and see them and appreciate. It'll give you an appreciation for what you have.
The world is so small.
Right. I mean, there's the moments that will define you. In many ways, are going to be moments where you see people. When you travel to places like this, I mean, my family's from Pakistan. I've had multiple opportunities to go there, and I've had multiple opportunities to make mistakes and wander into regions I really shouldn't have. And be like, oh, I don't want to trust this person. They're a little weird, or asking for a jump, and your mind's immediately going to jump to the story on Facebook that someone posted that was like, oh, remember this? Some guy jumped out and tried killing me when I jumped my car. Yeah. But there's a lot more good people than there are people trying to kill you. Just FYI, I've not been killed yet.
Yeah.
Things like that. So you'll realize that there's a small world that's very different from what you might see on the news on a daily basis, and what people around you tell you.
Yeah, and like you're saying, like on the news, all you hear about is how bad Flint is and
You
how
don't ever
bad
hear any
Detroit
good
and
things.
Saginaw is, and all the rumors about. It's like, well, it's not every single person there is bad. It's just so happens to be, yes, that's more of a dangerous area, but if you go there, I'm sure there's nice people there. It's just I mean, once,
Judge a book by its cover, pretty much.
yeah.
It's statistically more unsafe than any place else, but that just means still 1 out of every few hundred people could be bad, as opposed to
Also,
1 out of 1,000.
like we heard over there when we were speaking, I think I heard it, but the news and worldwide focuses on the bad things. Maybe they should focus more on the good things.
One question for you, I mean, how many of you guys have MacBooks or something like that?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a problem with it? A little bit of, some issue broke down? Okay, so you went online, did you try and research a problem? Did you try and fix it yourself, try and figure out what was wrong with it? How many people on there were on there being like, oh man, I've never had a problem, it's great, it always works? No, they go online and complain. They're not, you're not gonna raise your voice to be like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever used. You're gonna complain because it's broken. The focus is on the person who's making the most noise. Person who's gonna be the loudest, and that generally tends not to be the people that are doing positive things. Unfortunately, when people are going around helping, again, using a local example, Tyler helping her jump the car. You're Tyler, right? Yes. Okay. That's not going to be on Channel 5.
Oh, yes, it is.
I mean, it might make it to, and that's not to discredit what you did, but that's not Channel 5.
Yeah.
Channel 5 is going to be, some guy got shot in Flint.
Yeah. And like they were saying was, or like we were all saying is, like, if you have an area that something bad has went down in, say, Flint, and somehow Flint has were to evolve into one of the greatest communities or area around. Well, people are always going to have the thought of what has gone down in Flint, and they're always going to feel Flint is not the area to be. They're going to think the areas that are good and have been good throughout, and for the areas that have evolved into good areas, they're going to say, oh, well, this used to be a bad place, so we're not going to want to live around there.
And like my dad always says, you'll remember the one bad thing, and you'll forget the million good things.
That's
And
not
there are a
exactly how
million.
it goes.
Yeah. There are a million
Yeah.
of them.
We have crime right here in Sanford. You all know this, the Sanford Pharmacy just got robbed.
My house has got robbed in the past year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
my
mean,
house got robbed too.
Yep, his had been too. But, so, I mean, it happens everywhere, but there's a heck of a lot more good Tylers out there than there are the robbers. Boy, Tyler, you're getting all kinds of.
It's really, responsive, but then there's always that one person who has that one negative comment, and that's the stuff that sticks with you, because it's the stuff that's different. When somebody says, yeah, but mine didn't turn on when I got it. Or, this city, when I went there, every single restaurant, hotel, everybody was just rude, the service was bad. That's gonna stick with you, and it's gonna make you, have that pre-bias before you go there against, what you're using, and it's all over the world that you hear that.
And what can you do so that that doesn't stick with you as young people, so that you have that change, you don't become it doesn't become so ingrained in you? What can you do? Even if somebody says something about somebody else, or that person did that, and so that you can put them in a category, what can you do so that that doesn't happen?
Challenge yourself and prove them wrong.
Tell someone about it.
I feel like you should educate yourself to realize, what comments are, something that's very serious and what is something that's like, oh, you had a bad time, boo-hoo. I mean, if, you went to New York and had a rainy day, that doesn't mean New York's a bad city. So I think you just need to educate yourself on what truly matters and, to you.
And I think generally just have like a more positive outlook on things. Like a lot of people just have a really negative outlook on everything. Like come to school and they're angry and like they're just not happy about anything, and people just need to be more positive.
It's also your opinion on things.
Yeah, and like
bad attitudes.
an example of all this is like, I think it was like the Boston Marathon. I think there's all those people there to support those runners, and just 2 people or 1 or 2 people made worldwide news, make other people in the world feel that Boston, it's a bad place to be and stuff.